All right, I just said, generate me a would you rather question to start my podcast with. And ChatGPT says, would you rather have the ability to time travel but never be able to remember where you've been, or have perfect memory but never be able to leave your current time and place? I don't think that's a great one because, of course, I'd rather have perfect memory but never be able to leave my time. Oh, and place. That makes it a little bit more difficult. I was thinking, I can't leave my time. I'm trapped in my time.
And that doesn't work, though, like, because
what would you remember? You'd be a goldfish.
I wouldn't want to do either.
Yeah. What would be the point in time travel, but whenever you return, you can't remember anything? So if you went back in time and you just completely screwed up things, you would never know, because when you got back, you wouldn't remember having done it. And therefore it would just seem like it had always been this way. Maybe maybe time travel does exist. It's just that none of us can remember having done it. You want to see if we can generate one more?
Sure.
Would you rather have the ability to fly but never be able to touch the ground again, or have the power to become invisible but only when no one is looking?
Okay. So there's no point in being invisible then. Because there's always someone looking.
Yeah, that's so great.
You can get so close to the ground that you don't need to worry about touching it.
I have the power to go invisible, but only if no one is looking.
ChatGPT has failed again.
I love that premise, though. I love the idea of that. That's so funny. I'm going to do one more. That's a good question.
Because I could be invisible right now, but you wouldn't know because there's a camera.
I think that the cameras would have to count, because at some point someone will watch the video.
But wait, are we all not invisible if no one's looking at us?
Who's to say?
Exactly.
All right, one more. Oh, this one's a long one because it got tired of me generating new ones.
Yeah,
it's like, we're going to get you this time. Oh, this one, he gave me an intro and everything. He says, welcome to the podcast. Here's a thought-provoking would you rather question to kickstart your episode. It should be this episode. Would you rather have the ability to speak and understand all languages fluently, or have the power to communicate with animals?
Ooh, that's a good one.
I'd rather be invisible. Only when no one is looking.
Forget the animal talk. Forget the people talk. I want to be invisible.
Oh man! Right now, I'm trying to house train a new puppy, so I would give anything at all to be able to talk to animals. I promise you that, because then I could just say, "Hey, listen, here's the deal. We feed you. We give you a place to sleep. You're into this whole bargain is just that you use the bathroom outside, and that would be the end of it.
That's the only thing."
We finance everything else. We take care of everything else. This is the one thing you have to do.
Oh man, that's hilarious.
If I could talk to animals, we could come to terms with that. All right, so welcome to Crowbar Kernel Panic, the podcast at the intersection of Linux and gaming. This episode is pre-recorded and live streamed over at YouTube, and that's Crowbar Kernel Panic on YouTube. It's also in iTunes and other podcast apps. Please like, subscribe to us, however you choose to listen or watch the podcast. Like and subscribe. Hey, did you know there's this new podcast feature on YouTube now? I only just found out about it. It started like 3 months ago, and they're still kind of rolling it out slowly. But now you can actually mark your long form video podcast as a podcast, and it gets like it's like a special like tag that it is a podcast,
And it just like gets rid of the video feed, I guess.
no, you still have the video. It's exactly what we're posting now, only we kind of get penalized now because we post these like long episodes and people don't watch a large percentage of it.
Right. Yeah.
So it's this better for discoverability because they are also, if you go right now to youtube.com/podcast, they have a new landing page where they're just showing these episodes that are now flagged as podcasts.
Oh, okay.
So it hasn't rolled out completely yet, but it's something they're going to be expanding on. So I'm doing some cleanup of our episodes, making sure the names are all formatted the same and that they're all flagged as podcasts. I'm going through all that right now. So it'd be good, an interesting thing. This will be a new feature that's rolling out on YouTube, and we've already been posting for a long time. So this could be a good thing. But however you choose to listen to the show, just please subscribe to us there. Give us a comment, thumbs up, whatever they have. Everything.
Email us, whatever.
And definitely email us, crowbarkernelpanic@pm.me. You can join us on Discord. I have a link to the Discord in the show notes. We had a new member recently that joined to tell us about their ARC A770, and that they were not experiencing the same problems we were, which is really interesting, because such is the case with so many scenarios. I think you and I both came to the conclusion that it was our monitors, actually.
Yep.
I mean, there's still a factor in there because we had the same monitors with our NVIDIA cards, but it seems more of a compatibility issue with Intel. I don't even think specifically to the ARC cards. I think that it's just an Intel driver thing with my monitor.
Yeah, well, I know specifically because I tried my laptop on it with just the Intel card. I didn't load up the NVIDIA drivers at all, and it did the same exact thing. And I'm like, there you go. That's the answer right there. It's the monitor. It's not necessarily the monitor, but it's the fact that Intel is just not supporting that monitor, because my monitor was specifically like an NVIDIA monitor. Like, I don't know how to explain it. Cause like I bought the board for the monitor after I bought the monitor, and I installed the board after the fact. So it was kind of like a special case, and it was this whole thing. So anyway, I got a monitor from work because I could take one from work from home, and it works fine. I'm using Linux right now. I'm on Fedora 38.
Mine works as long as I turn HDR off, and for some reason I have to switch from I have to split from the DisplayPort to HDMI, but
that's weird.
Otherwise it works fine. And I recently installed Arch and just installed whatever the main. I didn't install like the testing repository or anything like that. I just used the main thing. And
the stable.
And everything worked fine. But I don't know, because I didn't test that with those features turned off and using HDMI. I didn't test that before. I think back early when we did our first test the weekend that we bought them, I think I did back then, but a lot of time has passed since then, and I don't know exactly what thing it was to fix it. But mine works as long as I have HDR turned off. And like you, mine is it's one of the early G-Sync monitors, so it's like an NVIDIA specific G-Sync monitor, which might also be kind of complicating things. But anyway, so thanks for joining the Discord. It was great to hear that input, and I'm sure that there's other people in the chat that it helped. And my confidence level of the ARC A770 is pretty high right now. I think for most people, it is a great inexpensive card. I don't know what the prices are most recently, but last time I checked, they were still, and they've announced a new line now. They just recently announced the next cards they're going to release in the ARC series. Yeah. So
that's cool. I mean, I was hoping that they were going to keep going with these ARC cards, and I was kind of wary a little bit with the whole situation with everything going on right now. And when they released them, or at least announced them, I was like, oh, this is good. Okay, at least we'll have support for a little while longer.
I think it's only going to get better, man. I think it's only going to get better. So let's get into some news. I guess it's kind of the biggest news, and just announced yesterday. The day before yesterday. But everybody's kind of been talking about it today and yesterday. Red the salacious headline, but is pretty accurate, is Red Hat is closed sourcing Red Hat Enterprise Linux. So they are basically, CentOS Stream is going to be the closest thing to source code for Red Hat that you can get without purchasing like their license, going through their customer portal. I actually there's a caveat to that, but let me go through this article and then we'll get to it. It's actually funny because it brings in kind of a running joke on our show. Glorious Egg Roll posted about this one loophole they don't want you to know about, or whatever the meme is. Oh man, I'm getting a ad blocker pop up. It's not letting me view this.
Oh crap!
Come on, can't I just say that I want to continue and screw your ads? But we love these guys, so you should turn off your ad blocker to support itsfoss.com. Itsfoss.com says Red Hat source code lockout spells disaster for CentOS alternatives. Rocky Linux and Alma Linux in trouble? ? Let's just read a little bit of this article and then we'll break off into some speculation. So Red Hat is known for its offerings such as Red Hat Enterprise Linux, CentOS, OpenShift, and more. While they are still a good part of the open source and Linux, they do not have a clean reputation. So they talk a little bit here about the about how CentOS Linux was basically killed off for CentOS Stream. And recently they had the layoffs that we talked about in the last episode. So it's kind of seeming like the IBM terrors are finally happening now.
Yeah, it took them a little while, but I mean, such as corporations, takes a while.
Yeah, but yeah, it's a little scary, but it seems like it could be.
I don't know what to think about the whole thing. Yeah, I mean, I
kind of have a devil's advocate take that I could see, like when we get into it, I could see some positives here, but what's happening? In recent announcement, Red Hat announced that CentOS Stream will now be the only repository for Rail related source code releases. They are doing away with publishing sources for Rail on git.centos.org. And their reason for this move is the following. And they have a quote here. I actually have a link to Red Hat's full article, but this is just the segment they chose to put in its Foss. The engagement around CentOS Stream, the engineering levels of investment, and the new priorities we're addressing for customer and partner now make maintaining separate redundant repositories inefficient. And we can look at Red Hat's full article if you want to, but they describe sort of in their article, they sort of describe their reasoning for CentOS Stream,
right,
and how they think that's the right direction. And then they also have this quote in there about, they want their focus to be on that and not to have to also maintain this other thing that they're in their view is like archaic and unnecessary. Like they're like, everybody should just move to this rolling release CentOS model. Why would we maintain this other if we really want you to use this,
Right. I don't know. I can't really get behind that because I'm like, what redundant repositories are they talking about exactly? Because they're just closing source to Rail itself, not CentOS. So it's not like there is redundant. I just don't understand the redundant repository situation. Like,
yeah. Well, so they were still supporting this source code because that's what Rocky and Alma and Oracle, they were gathering that from a Rail-based source code.
Right.
I don't know how they like. I don't. I'm not like interested in any of those distros. I haven't been in the. I used to work for a CentOS shop. We had CentOS and we had like a few Red Hat systems, but it was like 99% CentOS. And I was actually there whenever they made the announcement that they were going to CentOS Stream,
right?
And that it was no longer going to be like a 1-to-1, copy. And it was like, everybody was like, "Oh, what are we going to do?" And then everybody started talking about Rocky. That was like maybe we'll just migrate everything to Rocky. But in a corporation of the size of the one I was at the time, it was like, we can't just on a whim. Like switch everything over to Rocky. And I actually didn't stay. I ended up going to a different position at the same company, and now I'm even at a different position. So I don't really know how that rolled out. And I'm not in DevOps in my current position. So I really don't know. I don't even know. I don't even know what our situation is there. But it could be that they just migrated everything to Red Hat. They just decided that they just up their licensing so that they can cover everything there.
That's kind of what my work's doing. I've heard a couple places they're just rolling it up to Red Hat. They're not even going to bother trying to do Rocky or any of that stuff.
Yeah, I think that's probably what a lot of people are doing, and I think that they kind of know that this is going to be the attitude at a lot of places.
Yep.
And if you are going to use another system that is not their licensed system, they would rather it be. This is my devil's advocate time.
Right.
Here. They would rather it be CentOS Stream. That way, you're contributing to something that it's
flowing down to them.
Right. That will then flow down to Red Hat versus they contribute to Red Hat, and then you build off of that. So
they're just trying to stop them from benefiting from Red Hat, what Red Hat has done on top of CentOS Stream, basically.
Yeah, but they're still at the front of this pipeline also because Fedora is the beginning of this. Like Fedora contributes to CentOS Stream, which then contributes.
Like Fedora is like what would you say, 3 to 5 years in the future, technically, at least.
Probably.
CentOS would be like 1 to 2 years in the future, maybe something like that. Maybe I'm a little off, but and then obviously Rail would be now. But
I remember the first time I sat down at a Red Hat, or it might have been a CentOS terminal. It was at that very, very old job.
Yeah.
I was like, wait a minute, shouldn't we? What happened to DNF? Where's DNF? It's been because you like 3 or 4 years. Yeah. Like, why is it? Yeah, but it's there's a slow rollout too, because they make sure everything is like completely stable.
Yeah,
because that's what the corporations are interested in. They're not trying to get the RK770 to work to play Elder Scrolls Online.
But so like I just worry about Fedora in general, because I just don't know how this is going to play out. I don't know if they're going to like take everybody off of Fedora eventually, like on the payroll at least. I'm not worried about Fedora in general because it's community mostly, but I'm worried about the momentum that they've had these last 3 years that's just been getting better and better and better. And I feel like if they take all that money away and the people away, not that they're going to be totally away because they'll probably work on it in their spare time, but the momentum is going to slow down dramatically. And I think it's going to stifle Fedora for maybe a little while.
Could this be, and I don't disagree with you. I'm just, trying to be the other side of the conversation.
Yeah. Gotcha.
Could this be not necessarily that they are in a way defunding Fedora, but more so that they're better aligning the pipeline that they want. So instead of contributing to Fedora and then that goes down to Red Hat, which then gets split off to CentOS and Alma and all this, but then those people are also contributing. So those things also they feed back into Red Hat again, or back into Fedora again, or however that works. But instead they're saying we would like a more streamlined process where, you're welcome to contribute to Fedora or CentOS Stream, and we're going to try to like foster that community, But we're also gonna, reap the benefits of
exactly. Exactly.
They're closed sourcing like our section of it.
Yeah, they're trying to play both sides of the fence.
Yeah. Now it's technically it's open to their it's open to their contributors. Basically, it's open to their customer portal, which I think is how because I saw an article that was talking about how this still fits within, like, they're not breaking any licensing. Because it's still available in that way. But also, let me give you the Glorious Egg Roll tweet here. So our Lord and Savior Glorious Egg Roll. And another YouTuber that I watch, Chris Titus Tech, he had posted
I saw that one
tweet. Yep. He says Red Hat Rail 9 going to be closed source ? At least public. Probably still get source if you have an active Red Hat subscription. Probably means the death of Rocky, Alma, Oracle, yada, yada, yada. And then in response to that, Glorious Egg Roll, he says, just want to note here, the developer subscription is completely free and still allows access to Rail and its source code if you want exact package sources. CentOS Stream basically serves as a Rail upstream, so I understand this change. It may seem confusing for some people. So, the first part of that statement is really the important part. If you have a developer subscription, which is completely free, then you still have access to the Rail source code, at least for now.
Right, but you are not allowed to redistribute that. That's what I read. Someone else posted. I don't know if it was Glorious Egg Roll. I might have read the same post as you did, but I read something, and then he corrected himself in the next post down, and
there's two replies. Let me see if that's what it is. Maybe the replies haven't gotten put into I don't know why this told me there was two replies. There's a lot more than two replies.
Yeah, there was a ton on the one I was looking at, but the next one down, or several down, whatever, Glorious Egg Roll, or somebody posted again and said that it is available to you if you have the portal, but you're not allowed to redistribute it, which stops Rocky and all them from doing anything, because they can build it, but they can't redistribute it. So what's the point? Now, I mean, I was going off of what someone else said. I don't know if that's 100% true or not, but if it is true, then it is effectively dead.
Yeah, I don't know for sure, but if that's the case, I don't disagree. Alma Linux, they posted on Twitter, they just gave an update to their community. They said, no need to panic, but it's more like, no need to panic. Don't panic, guys. There's no need to panic.
Everything's going to be okay. Don't worry.
Everything's okay. Just I promise. We are looking into Red Hat's announcements this morning and the implications for us. We will keep the community updated as we have a clear understanding of how we can work with Red Hat and our plan moving forward. I wonder if these distributions are just going to somehow become spins of they're just going to base off a stream.
Yeah.
I wonder if they're going to do, they could almost, I'm just making this up off the top of my head. I don't know what the hell I'm talking about, but it could be something similar to what Manjaro is to Arch.
Yeah.
Where it's it's not a rolling distribution, but they kind of take that rolling thing and they break it up into milestones kind of thing. Maybe but it's still really close. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yep. Maybe they'll try to predict kind of what Red Hat's going to do.
Yeah,
or
that's true. Yeah.
Maybe they'll have somebody on the inside kind of sort of giving them information and kind of trying to keep it as close as they can. I don't know. Yeah. I don't know.
So I don't know. All interesting stuff. I have the announcement blog. I just pulled it up. It really, the whole first part is basically CentOS Stream focused, and then the latter part of it is about the change to how they're going to distribute Rail source.
Yeah, right.
But I don't know. I don't want to say that I don't know how I feel about it. I haven't been a sysadmin in a while. I'm likely not to be one again in my career. I don't know. I care as a community member, but I can kind of understand. I can understand the frustration, but I can also understand why they may have made this choice. But I feel like, but here's where I'm cautious. Every news about Red Hat in the last 2 years or however long it's been since they got purchased, 3 or 4 years now, it was like 2019, right? 2018, 2019,
something. Yeah, it wasn't quite 2020 yet.
I don't think it was 2020. Yeah. It's funny. 2020 is now the milestone in all of our lives. We think about whether was I at
was
home?
It the before times or the after times?
Before Tiger King or after Tiger King?
Before Tiger King.
I every article that's come out since that acquisition, I have had that approach to, where I've been like, let's don't, like, I kind of understand it. I kind of, you know what I mean? Like, I've kind of been on the fence about everything that's come out since then.
Yeah. Like it's almost like a cause and effect of IBM kind of situation. Like, they bought it, therefore this is happening. They bought it, therefore this is happening, And it's like, you can't get too crazy with it, because you'll never know what's going to happen.
I can tell you though, as somebody that works in corporate IT and having had worked in DevOps and sysadmin,
right.
I can tell you that moving to a rolling, at least it could be different corporation to corporation. I've only ever worked for one major corporation, but I can tell you that moving to something that is more evergreen, is more like rolling, like, there was a time period where sysadmins were like, we just never update, because when you update, it breaks. So we just never update. To now, the philosophy is you update as much as possible, because then less things change, which means that less things break. But you have to update, because otherwise you're just like, you're going to be mining Bitcoin, and
exactly.
And all your files are going to be stolen. You got to pay some ransomware. And so, I mean, I could see that this would be like something like Stream would be the direction of corporations. So, I mean, I'm not totally against that philosophy. But I think it's the losing of the other thing that makes it uncomfortable.
Yeah. Yeah. Good old IBM Red Hat.
Yeah. So I haven't heard anybody talk about this yet, and I'm sure someone somewhere has, but just in the media that I follow, I haven't seen anything yet. But I received an email from System 76 about a privacy breach. Have you heard anything about this?
No, I have not.
Yeah. So,
that's interesting.
Yeah. So I got, it only affects me in the sense, well, I'll when we get to the part where they show what was exposed.
Okay.
I'll tell you how it affects me. Luckily, I've moved and I've changed my phone number. So, So they say, hello. There's been an ongoing issue with our website that allowed some customer data. It's funny, they jump right into it. There's no like preamble or anything.
Yeah.
Which I respect. There's been an ongoing issue with our website that allowed some customer data to be viewed in the source code of public system76.com. My team is very security minded, and an incident of this nature is of significant concern. Before discussing the details, I want to emphasize the following. Your system76.com account credentials and credit card numbers were not compromised at any point. When did this occur? They say it happened on March 17th, and it was resolved by May 26th. And what was exposed? So name, physical address, email address, and phone number was what was exposed. Now, like I said, in my scenario, I've actually moved and gotten a new phone, and the email that I used with them, I still have it, and it's still an active email, but it's like, it's an email that I made whenever I was like 16. And
it's got so much information on it, no one can tell what it is.
It's got a stupid name, and I don't actually use it for anything professional anymore. I don't even use it for like, I only use it for back whenever I got a laptop from System 76, which again was pre-COVID. It was like 2017.
Right.
I was still using it back then, but I've since replaced it with Proton Mail, and I never use it.
That's why I didn't receive anything, because I never bought anything from them.
Yeah, you have a System 76, but you didn't buy it directly from them.
No, I don't have a System 76.
Oh, I thought you did. I thought you did it one time.
No. I was thinking of getting one, but I never ended up doing it.
Yeah. So they say, again, your credentials or credit card were never compromised. And they go on to explain that can any of this data still be accessible? This data was embedded directly into the source code of our website. So it will be included in any archives that were taken during the time period.
Ooh, that's pretty bad.
Yeah, that's pretty crazy. We have already been in contact with the Internet Archive and they have removed their data. But there are other potential places where it could have been stored. Yeah, because sometimes
anybody can clone it. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. I mean, there's like bots out there that will just download copies of the Internet
they'll
Archive.
Just scrape anything they can get.
Yeah.
Yep.
What pages on our site contain the data? So due to the nature of the flaw, the data being included to some extent on every page on our site. Wow.
This is crazy. Gee, I can't believe no one's talking about this.
Like I said, they may be. I haven't caught it. And
I haven't heard anything about this.
Why was there a delay before resolving this and making an announcement? We wanted to do our best to clean up the residual customer data that was easily accessible before disclosing the nature of this leak. This involved working with the Internet Archive to delete their copy of the data before public disclosure, which makes sense to me. I mean, they don't want to make a big announcement. Yeah.
It's just like the people who do the bug. What are they? The
0 day?
Yeah, 0 days and stuff. They don't want to release them right away because then everybody will just go try to exploit them.
Yeah. Why did it take so long to discover? So they go in, and I don't need to read this whole thing, but I thought it was interesting. One, that it happened, and two, that you're not hearing a whole lot about it. But I think it's because honestly, and I'm not that upset about it. One, because it was, for me, it's kind of bogus data that's not really like what they got my name, some old address I used to live at. Yeah. But I also think the System 76 is in the good graces of the community. And I think that their response to it, especially even going so far as working with the Internet Archive. Yep. I think that, I think that there's some goodwill there. This sort of thing could happen to anybody. We see it happen every day. Yep. But still, nonetheless, in our community, if you're System 76, there's a pretty good likelihood that some percentage of our audience has purchased laptops or something from System 76.
Yep. So I can think of 3 people right now.
Yeah.
Yep.
Interesting. And I almost missed it because, like I said, I really don't check this account that much because it's just so full of spam and crap that it's not even I just don't even check this account anymore because I just know that it's just full of stuff.
Yep. I get you there.
Every once in a while, I go through and I hit the checkbox to select all. And I do it for 5 pages of stuff. And then I quickly scroll through the pages just to make sure there's not anything that sticks out to me. And I don't know why I stopped to look at this one because, the day after this, I got some email from System 76 saying "Oh, check out our new Onyx Pro" or whatever. It's give it a day or two, man.
It was probably just some automated system sending it out.
Yeah.
But that's funny though.
I met back, I don't know how they are now, but back then they were an extremely small company. And I met a few of them at Southeast Linux Fest.
Oh yeah.
2018 or so.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah. Yeah. And it was the year that I had just bought one. I think I had just ordered one. I was still waiting on it to come in. And then they didn't have a booth, but they had a representative there, a community representative or something there. And, they're from California or somewhere. So, I mean, he flew all the way to the East. Colorado. Yeah. Either way. Yeah. He flew all the way to the East Coast. Yep. And just to, make an appearance at
That's
one
pretty
of
cool.
the small Linux fests of the.
Yep. Hey, that's how you get your name out there.
Yeah, I know. We should do some Southeast Linux Fest.
That'd be cool.
I've been to a few of them. I actually went to, I don't know if it was the first one, but it was an early one. It was at Clemson. It wasn't even, now it's in North Carolina.
Yeah.
I live in Anderson, which is basically Clemson. And the original ones were like at Clemson University. And I went to one of them. Cool. And it was like so early. Jono Bacon was there doing a Ubuntu community manager talk. Like it was
wow,
so long ago. Yeah. All right, so that's all I had in the news. Oh, there's a really cool project someone posted on the Discord.
Yeah, this one's really cool.
Voices of Vvardenfell. Vvardenfell. I never know how to say the double V.
I think it's Vvardenfell.
Vvardenfell. Oh yeah. I was reading it.
I'm pretty sure that's how it's pronounced.
Yeah. I was reading it as an N, but the double V is what throws me off.
Oh yeah, I gotcha. Yep.
So this is a community project to voice. They're wanting to fully voice Morrowind. Now they have
that's pretty cool.
They have a video that it's in our Discord. I'll link it in the show notes here too. I thought they were making a call out to voice actors to come voice the quests in the game, but no, they're using this Elven AI in MWSE. It's AI generated voices.
Yep.
And it sounds so good. Like I really thought it was voice actors.
Some of the stuff is good.
Yeah, like some of the cadence was like a little odd. But I chalked it up to like, well, this is a fan made thing, and they probably recorded that part, and then like a week later they recorded that part, and it didn't quite mesh up. But no, it's all AI, which is crazy. That is so wild. I didn't even realize that. Now, I also wonder how long is this project really going to take? If like really, are they just copy and pasting the quest text into this AI?
Probably
and it generates it, and then they must have to do some cleanup or some like the cadence thing I was talking about. Maybe they do some.
I'm sure they have to edit it,
adjustment and editing to make it smoother. But it's a really cool project. Recently I've been addicted to Turtle WoW, and I've been looking up other like WoW private servers.
Right.
There's even some other obscure MMOs that now have private servers, and like I'm getting this interest, which I've had before, but I'm getting it again, of these like fan led community games, like where it's like some game that like has just long since been out of vogue, and the fans are just trying to resurrect it out of nostalgia, and this is a really cool project because it's in that same vein. I'll have to keep an eye on it. It reminds me of the modern Elder Scrolls, like Elder Scrolls Online, where all the quests have like, depending on your choice, it's all voice acting. Which even based on today's standards, it's amazing that every quest in Elder Scrolls Online is voice acted. That's pretty wild.
I know. There's so much. Like, I would love to know their budget for voice actors.
That's a lot of content there. Yeah.
Even if they're cheap voice actors, it still has to be astronomical.
Yeah. They probably just have a group of really talented people that can do like different voices.
They had a group of very talented people do some voice acting, and then AI did the rest. No.
Yeah, that's the thing. Why don't they just use AI for the rest? If this project is successful, couldn't they just do that?
Yeah, and this is the thing. If they had a good enough sample for the AI to learn off of, it could be that good, because it would have a really good thing to learn off of.
Oh yeah, that's true. Have you heard the Jay-Z? There's a song. It's called "The Savages."
I think I know what you're talking about.
It's such a good song. I've listened to it. Like I listen to it in the car. Like it's like right now. It's one of my favorite songs. But it's got Jay-Z is like a guest vocal in the song, and it's not him. It's all AI generated.
Yep. Oh man.
Yeah, the AI voice stuff is just, it's getting it's getting wilder and wilder.
It is.
A lot of times you can tell. A lot of times you can tell, like all the comical, like Trump and Biden ones. I saw one the other day where it's like Joe Rogan, Trump, and Biden and somebody else are all playing Dungeons and Dragons.
Those ones are so funny.
Like they don't sound real, but you can tell what they sound, who they're supposed to sound like. But like this,
like parts of it sound real, but the transitions between them is what you can tell.
So I think maybe that's what this Vvardenfell project is. Maybe that's what they're having to adjust, is to make it sound natural and fluid. But yeah, the Jay-Z one, it's like it legit sounds like Jay-Z.
I know, that stuff's crazy.
So Steam Next Fest is going on right now. And if you ever wanted to try out a demo of some indie game, there is some major games on there also, but it's a really good way to, as a Linux gamer, go try some stuff out on Proton before you buy it. Yeah. A lot of it is like soon to be released, or I remember there's one game that I really liked on there that was like you better follow this because it's coming out this year and it still's not out. So like, you know,
I have like 3 that are like that. It's been 10 years and they're still not released. It's like, it's hard to
tell. I don't know anything about these games. I literally just before the show just went and looked at some that I'm interested in playing the demos of. I haven't had time to do it yet, but we got 3 days. So it ends on the 26th. Today's the 23rd that we're recording this. I should try to get this posted tonight. That way it'll be relevant still.
Yep.
So we have 3 days that you can go try some of these out. And a lot of times, even after the fest, they can still leave up a demo of their game. So
a lot of times they do.
Yeah, so if you see it on the fest and then you mark it as follow or add to your wish list, a lot of times they'll still have an available demo. Not always. I remember there's a few that I tried last year that when I went back to it, they did not have. But more often than not. So I'm going to present. Wait, I don't want to present my whole screen. I want to present this tab. All right, so I'll start with Luto. So Luto. This is make sure it's going to come up.
There it is.
So Luto is, I've watched people play it on YouTube. Mm-hmm. It's a horror game, and it's one of these like it kind of became sort of a subgenre of indie horror. The spooky house, things change as you walk through it.
Yeah.
It kind of was a spin-off from, there was the Silent Hills. I can't remember the name of the demo, but there was a PlayStation demo that kind of spawned this whole like subgenre. And a lot of times, they're garbage. But I watched someone play this one. This one is really clever in the way it does that whole thing. I do believe that it is falling into that, genre scenario.
Right. Yep.
But I think it is a really good adaptation of that.
I mean, once in a while, even the cliche genres, there's always a new thing that somebody does that no one's thought about, and they revive it kind of in a way.
Yeah, like I love, dude. Doesn't this shot just look awesome?
Yeah, that's freaking cool. I love the guy in the way distance. You can see like there's like a like that figure right there that you're showing right now. Like see way in the distance. That's pretty freaking cool.
But the hall is lined with all these other ones, and so that's one of the cool things about the game is the that cloth draped over the figure, in a way is kind of like silly, but also creepy. Yeah. And just mechanically, the way the game is made, it's done very well. Where it's a very realistic like cloth effect over this like body.
Yeah, the physics are pretty good.
Yeah. But it's really cool. Really cool.
Yeah, it's got like a realistic but not realistic kind of look to it. It's one of those like in between. Like you can tell it's not real, but you can also kind of think maybe it is real.
I'm gonna make sure that if I full screen this, look. Oh, it does.
Yeah, you got it. Yep.
It actually does. Yeah, it's a pretty realistic scenery. Now, in what I've seen of it, it's just a small house. It's struggling to stream it and show this at the same time. But there's some really great videos of people.
Yeah, I mean, it looks good. To be honest, as I get older, and I actually was just talking about this today with another guy, I want games that aren't like huge anymore.
Yeah.
Like I just don't have time for it. And as we've gotten into our RPG Maker kind of situation going on, I've been playing RPG Maker games, and most of them are so small, or a lot of them are smaller, that it's nice to be able to actually complete a game, you know? I forgot what that feels like.
I'm kind of, I was thinking about that, and for the sake of the podcast, it works out good too, because then you can kind of complete something and review it. And,
exactly.
And I'm kind of with you. There's a game that I recently purchased. It was only like $4.99, and it was like a PS1 style survival horror.
Right.
I can't remember the name, but maybe I'll finish it and review it next episode. But yeah, I'm with you. I'm really getting more into these like sort of shorter indie developed, games that are more either nostalgic or just unique in some way.
And they're cheaper.
Yeah, I mean, I picked up Diablo finally. I picked up Diablo 4.
Diablo 4, okay, yeah.
And it's really cool. I like it. It does. I was looking, like, it scratches the Diablo itch that I was wanting for a while, but like I'm not super you're not
staying with it.
Yeah, I'm gonna fizzle out. Yeah, I'm playing it a little bit, but I'm not gonna do any. I
totally know what you're talking about, dude.
Yeah, I'm not gonna do any in-game content. I'm gonna be interested in it long enough to kind of get the feel, and then I'll move on. I'd much rather play something shorter. Yeah, I'm with you.
Yep,
with you. So speaking of Diablo feel, this game here is called The Legend of Capa Negra. Let's see if it'll do full screen. Oh, it's working pretty good. So now it's slowing down. So it has a very old school feel. It is much lower poly.
RuneScape almost.
Yeah, it's like a Diablo, like more realistic than Diablo 2, Diablo 3 maybe.
Yeah.
But lower poly than Diablo 3.
Nice.
There's less like foliage and stuff than Diablo 3, but
right.
It seems like it is just a slow-paced high fantasy, dark fantasy story. And it just seems really cool. It seems really nostalgic to me in a way. And I think it looks like something I'd want to pick up the demo for. It definitely looks like something I'd want to pick the demo up for before I bought it.
I'll 100%. Because it looks like it might be good, but it also could be one of those things where there's like a really nice looking world, but not a lot to do kind of situation.
Yeah. It kind of it strikes me as either single developer or small development team.
Right. Not that they can't be good, but there's a higher chance of them being not fully developed, I guess you could say.
Yeah, definitely. All right, so this one is a lot of fun. This game is called Myth Force.
Myth Force.
What struck me about it is that it like looks like you're playing a cartoon.
Yeah.
It's like this cross. Oh, the video froze whenever I opened it. It's like this cross between like old Dungeons and Dragons cartoon.
So weird. Yeah.
Mixed with like He-Man cartoon. or Thundercats.
Thundercats.
Yeah.
It's
so crazy. It's like cell shaded to the max with like these like thick outlines, and it just looks like you're playing a cartoon.
It's literally like a comic book cartoon came into life.
Yeah. This looks really cool. I just want to play it to see what it feels like. Games like with games like this, it either feels great or it's like, okay, that was neat.
Yeah, right. Like that was a cool gimmick.
I'm not gonna keep playing it, but it was neat.
I like the animations they did. They were really, really smooth.
Yeah, it could be really cool. And then I picked a pretty diverse group here. And then this is another game development idea I had was a point and click game, like a point and click puzzle adventure game. So
they're a lot easier to develop.
I don't know. I think that they have like engines in the same way that
they do. Yeah,
RPGs do. But this game looks really cool. I'm gonna have to.
Oh, this is different. Yeah, It's like a side scroller.
Yeah,
but it's point and click.
Yeah, it's like a point and click adventure. You have to solve puzzles and things. I don't even know if it has combat. And it is The Shape of Fantasy.
Yeah.
Vern, The Shape of Fantasy. And you are Jules Verne, but you're playing through like an adventure that would like come out of his imagination.
Right, yeah. Oh, that's cool. Wow.
Yeah, so it's a pretty neat concept. And like, yeah, some of the pixel art scenes are just so simple, but
they're gorgeous.
Still really gorgeous. Yeah. Exactly. So I'm kind of interested in playing that.
I'm a little biased on pixel art. I love pixel art, but
I'm getting into it too. I remember in early episodes I was criticizing it, and then now all of a sudden I've gotten into it. So somewhere along the line, I figured out what people like about it. The thing about, so I tried playing one of those games, beautiful pixel art, story driven point and click adventure game.
Mm-hmm.
But the story was so convoluted that I lost interest.
Yeah, the story is, that's the thing. Like, if you're going to do a point and click game, the story has to be almost 80% to 90% of your game, like, development.
Yeah, I know.
Because you got to have a good story.
I think that so this one was a highly rated, like, I think this one was highly rated in that community. Let me pull up my Steam. I'll tell you what it was. And so I think that I've never really been, even whenever I was a kid, I didn't really play those types of games. So that's something. There's people out there that are as nostalgic for that as I am for like Vanilla WoW. You know, like that's like, they grew up doing that. That's like their favorite genre of game, and they just eat it up. And I think that community, I think they yearn for the convoluted storyline, man. I think I think that they want that.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely could be that. I mean, like, I grew up on that kind of stuff. Like, I did the more educational route for that, like point and click kind of like, ooh,
I remember
find this color,
game.
you know.
I had the math game where you had to do math puzzles to shoot numbers.
Yeah,
like
basically,
Math Blaster or something like that,
or like Carmen Sandiego kind of style.
Oh yeah, we did that in school. Yeah, Carmen Sandiego. I forgot about that.
So like that kind of stuff I grew up with, but like it for me to be grabbed into a straight up point and click like that game, I think I could get into a little differently because you can move your character and stuff. It's not only point and click. It's not like you're looking at a photo and you got to point and click around. I think I can get into that game a little more. But if it is a like single photo, like you got to point and click, you got to really have a good fluid story.
I've watched videos of people playing those types of games, and some of them are really cool. Even the ones that are super simple, just photographs. And then, you know, someone has arranged what you can click in the photograph.
Right.
This one, I'm trying to find it in my Steam library. So the game I was talking about earlier that was like the PS1 Silent Hill style game was called Lake Haven. Haven Chrysalis. What I've played of it so far, it's really good. It seems like it is a short game, but, you know, maybe like 4 to 6 hours. But I've played like 2 to 3 hours of it, and it is really good. It's awesome because you carry around a gun, and I've not even seen anything to shoot at. You're just walking around this creepy, it's not even a mansion, but it's like you're just walking around this creepy house and finding different keys and different clues and things. That's not the game that I was talking about, point and click. I can't find it in my list here. Another short game, I meant to talk about this on a past episode and I didn't. There's a game we talked about the Stanley Parable.
Yes.
By that same developers, there is Dr. Langaskov, the Tiger, and the Terribly Cursed Emerald. It's a long title.
Huh.
It's like an hour long. It's a super short game, and it is awesome. It's free, and you should download it and play it. It's you would really like it. It's like it's similar to what Stanley Parable is, where it's like this, like you're in a game. So it's like the premise of the game is like you're in the game, but you're like behind the scenes. Whenever you join the game, there's some other player playing it. And so there's this intercom voice that's like, oh, you're not supposed to be here yet. Well, here, will you help me real quick? We'll get this. And so you have to kind of help this voice. But you never actually see the game because you're just doing the behind the scenes stuff.
Right. Interesting.
The point and click game was the whole reason I switched over to here, and I've talked about 2 other games and I cannot find it.
Anyway, I don't know. I haven't seen a point and click game like that in that style in a long time. So
yeah, this one looked really good like that. I cannot find it to tell you what it is. But anyway, so that's the Steam Next Fest. Go try out some games that you might be interested in buying. You can make sure they work on Proton before you purchase it.
Yeah, and discuss them on Discord if you want with us.
I want to hear about To the Moon because I saw on Discord that you played it,
dude.
And I've heard so many good things about it. It's like in the RPG Maker game community, it's the one that's on. If you look at a top 10 list, it is on the list, every list. And it's supposedly this really artful, just like super tasteful game.
Yep, dude. Like that game is now on my like top 10 list. Like it was that good. I mean, it's not even like a game. It's like it's basically like an adventure kind of with a side like game to it. Like you have these little mini games that you do and to progress through the story. Very simple mini game, but like I mean the story was just amazing. Like it was the only pixel art game that has ever almost brought me to tears.
That's what everybody says.
Almost. It was very close.
That is what everybody says about the game, is that like it'll make you tear up, which is I find astonishing to a game with such like, pixelated
you get invested in these people. Like
there's no voice acting, right?
You're reading the whole thing. It's like a book almost.
Yeah. I really like that concept though. And you were saying like you're solving puzzles and stuff. That's similar.
It's the same puzzle every single time, except for just a different way to solve it.
Huh.
You gotta like it's like a photo of something, and there's these tiles they have to flip, and you have to flip them all to reveal the whole photo. And you gotta do it in a certain order. But that's how you progress through the game. I don't want to give too much away. That right there, so that little duck platypus thing, like that would be like distorted, and you'd have to figure out how to get the whole entire image to show up.
Wow, I've never played the game, so I couldn't possibly spoil it. What I have heard about the game is that the premise is that there's this like it's almost like a Eternal Dream, or what is the Eternal Sunshine of a Spotless Mind, where there's like this group of people that can come like implant memories in you, or in Eternal Sunshine they're actually helping you forget something, but this is like kind of the opposite.
This is the opposite. Yep.
And you're trying to like help somebody like fulfill their life's goal as they're on their deathbed, give them the memories of them being able to do that.
Yep, that's exactly what's going on. Yep.
That is such a like wild premise.
Yeah, and the story just totally blows you away. I mean, I'm talking blows you away. Like I can't exaggerate it enough.
All right, it's only $9.99, and
wait for the summer sale. It's the 29th. It starts the 29th. I guarantee you it'll be like $2.
Yeah, probably.
I mean, not that I don't want to support the developer, but money.
There is, I don't know if it's the same developer. There's a bundle here.
Yes.
That's got a bunch of games.
Finding Paradise is the direct sequel to this game.
Oh wow!
You helping another person through their ending days and all that stuff. And it's a direct sequel. Like you're playing the same 2 characters that you're playing in the first game. I really want to get that one. That one I am like, as soon as the sale comes on, I'm buying it immediately.
See, in my mind, I'm thinking $9.99. I'll just buy this one, and then when the sale comes on, I'll buy some other game.
When you're broke like me, man.
It's just an excuse for me to buy a different, like another game whenever the summer sale comes on. There's also Imposter Factory. Oh, I've heard
that one's a different game, but it's like the same developers, so I'm assuming it's going to be pretty good.
So Freebird Games. I'm just So yeah, these are all Freebird games. Wow.
Oh, dude. And they really get, I'm not going to spoil anything for saying this, but they really get you. And I should have looked this up after I saw it, but on the To the Moon, on the credits, it tells you that the developer had cancer or something, or somebody in the development team had cancer. And they said, go to this site to support, them, blah, 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 yada, yada. And I never looked up to see if they survived or what happened to them or anything like that. I should do that because it was like after that whole game, you're emotionally drained. Then they do that to you, which I'm just like, whoa. Because the whole game was based off of this guy having cancer and basically what he would want to happen to him.
Yeah.
So it's just like this out of body experience, the whole thing.
That's so wild, dude. I'm gonna get it. I've heard enough about it. I want to play it. I just can't believe that it comes from that small of a package. Like I can't believe that it comes from an RPG Maker game to be.
And it's not even like MV or MZ. It's Ace. It's Ace.
Oh wow,
which is the older one.
That's probably the one I used when I was a kid.
Well, I don't know about that.
I was downloading them from LimeWire, so I had a bunch of different ones.
Yeah. But no, Ace is right before MV, so I'm not sure. I think it was 2012 or 20.
Did you see the PlayStation game that I sent a picture of in the Discord chat? The RPG Maker for PlayStation 1.
No, I don't think so. I must have missed that.
I posted it and tagged you in it, but it probably got lost in the shuffle.
Oh crap!
There's a new vintage video game store at our mall, and
yes, I remember that was a while ago now.
Could you imagine making an RPG Maker game using a controller on a PlayStation?
I could not imagine at all. That would take so long.
That had to be the worst. That had to be the worst experience ever.
How would you put in text?
Probably you have to use, an old PlayStation games where you have to go through all the letters and put in your name.
A, scroll, N, scroll.
Yeah, it had to be awful. Anyway, so I wanted to talk about. We had so much stuff to talk about this episode that maybe we spin this off into next week, but I'll give a little bit of a spoiler. I have all the hardware. Most of it's put together.
Awesome.
To build my home lab. All I got to put in now is I didn't have all I had was a 250 gig hard drive, and it doesn't seem like enough for a hard for a home lab.
Well, I mean, you can get away with some stuff, but over time you're going to have problems.
you can't store a whole lot on that, I guess. So I ordered, I saw a sale on Newegg for these some weird brand 2 terabyte SSD. So I ordered that. So that's kind of what I wanted to talk to you about. And again, we can make a full episode of it next week. Maybe in the Discord, and I'll post something in there too.
Yeah.
Let's get people to post their home lab setups and we can discuss it. But I want to make one specifically so that I can make a VM with pass-through GPU for video editing. Because the scenario I run into is that I install a Linux distro on my desktop for the show, or just, because of the ARC trouble that we were having, I reformatted several times. I'm reformatting all the time. And I get to these places where it's like, okay, well, now I've got to install everything so I can edit the podcast and post it.
Yeah, which takes more time.
Right. But if I could just build a VM and always have that available, then I could just remote into it and edit the show that way. But then I'm thinking, why even? So I was going to do this all on Proxmox. Why even? I should just skip Proxmox. I should just make that. It's basically a video editing gaming desktop.
Yeah, just RDP into it.
I should just make it that and not do the Proxmox thing.
You could.
I'm kind of making this way more complicated for myself.
Yeah.
But that being said, I still want to do it. I still want to. Yeah, that's a good idea. Maybe I just dual boot Proxmox, but then whatever's running on Proxmox, you got to shut down. So I don't know. I'm still toying with the idea of Proxmoxing a VM for video editing. But I don't have any plans. I don't keep a lot of data. My philosophy on data is once I post a podcast episode, I delete it. We have like pictures and things like that backed up various places online, but we don't have a big SSD full of it here at our house. And like, I just don't keep a lot of stuff. I stream all I don't have big copies of TV shows and stuff. I stream all that stuff.
Yep. And I'm the exact opposite.
Yeah,
I'm a data hoarder.
and another thing is like, I'm not big on like, I don't watch a lot of like traditional media. Like if I watch something, it's probably on YouTube. I rarely. So right now, my wife and I are watching Barry on HBO Max. Okay. But that's literally the only show that I've watched in like 3 months. Like I just don't watch a lot of like just regular TV.
So
I don't even know what my need is for a home lab, other than I just want one.
I mean, hey, it's good to just have one. I don't know, just screw around with it, whatever. But like for me, as far as that goes, the media stuff, like I don't like pretty much any new show. Like there's very few new shows that I like, and I just rewatch old shows. Like my wife and I are watching Big Bang Theory for like the third time now in like the last like 6 years. Yeah. So that's what I like about it. I can go back and watch the same show over again and like, oh, I didn't catch that the first time, you know?
Yeah. Another idea I had was to make a Hackintosh. And I could make that the editing computer, but I really just want to do it just because I've never done it before.
That would be an interesting venture. Unfortunately, eventually you're going to run into the problem of it not being supported for x86 anymore, but I don't think that's going to happen for a little while yet.
Trying to think of other uses. We could, we used to have a own cloud server. We could do that again. I could host my own Foundry BTT server.
Okay.
I host one through a service now, and I don't use it.
Yeah, the problem with self-hosting at home is like, unless you have a static IP, you really have to do dynamic DNS, which is fine, but it makes things way more convoluted to get them accessible outside of your network and inside. It takes a lot more steps to get Nextcloud set up for DDNS than it does just setting it up to an IP that you have.
So I think the what I'm trying to express in this episode is that I want to build one, and I need the listeners out there to help me come up with excuses as to why I need one. Because right now, I just want to do it because I want to do it. I have no need for it whatsoever. I could just install, Arch on this baby and just never touch it for anything other than video editing. And there's no reason to do Proxmox or anything. But I want to find use cases, and I think it would make for good topics for the podcast too. So.
Yeah, I host some games.
Yeah,
like Valheim. I have a Valheim server.
I was about to say that. Yeah, we can do Valheim.
I have a Mine Test server, which is the open source Minecraft.
That's reason enough, man. That's reason enough.
Gaming podcast, hosting games. I mean,
that's reason. That's reason enough. Yeah, there you go.
What they need is they need a Stardew Valley freaking server that is up all the time too, because I can't stand the fact that they don't have an always on server. Now they did have a mod you could add, but it doesn't work anymore because they never updated it for the newer version. And I don't understand how some of these hosting services do it. They have hosted Stardew Valley servers.
Yeah.
And I'm like, funny? How do you do it?
Stardew Valley is the game that comes on the Tesla. So in the Tesla, when you're at a charger, there's a entertainment section that pops up. And there's a few games. Sonic is also one of the games, but Stardew Valley is one of the games that you can sit there.
Oh, that's hilarious. Oh my gosh.
You can sit there and play it while your car's charging.
Oh man. When do you game when my car's charging?
Yeah, that's what made me think about it, because the only time I've ever played Stardew Valley was in the car.
Nice.
And me and my son, when I first got a Tesla, me and my son would go in the driveway just to play Star.
That's hilarious.
All right. Well, another thing. This is not a Tesla podcast, but there's a difference. There's AMD Teslas and Intel Teslas. I think the new ones. Yeah, I think the new ones are AMD. Mine is an Intel because it's one of the older ones, and the AMDs are faster, I think.
I wouldn't be surprised, but
let me see if that's still true.
Oh my gosh, that's nuts. I didn't even realize they had like full-fledged processors in them.
Yeah.
Like obviously all cars do, but not like Intel and AMD.
It's actually, if I were to ever sell my car, I doubt the person buying it would know that level of detail. But if they're a nerd like me, they would. You want the AMD. It's actually an AMD Ryzen.
It's a Ryzen?
Yeah. and the Intel Atom is what my car has, and it's not as high performance.
No, there is no Intel Atom or Pentium or whatever the whatever. Yeah. None of them can compare to any of the Ryzens at this point.
I can tell it too. Whenever I do certain things with my car and it's like really slow, I'm like, I should have got that AMD.
Should have got the Ryzen. Should have went Team Red, baby.
All right, let's get out of here. Help me come up with excuses for my Proxmox server, and we will see you next week where we discuss home labs and all the things they're capable of. Hopefully Red Hat is still, that's probably their next big announcement, is that they're switching everything over to iOS. They're getting rid of Linux, the Linux kernel altogether. And we'll see you next week.
Steam Summer Sale. Team Summer Sale.
Yeah, so when does that start? When is this?
29th. The 29th of
so it rolls right
June.
After this one. Okay.
Yep.
Yeah. Yep. All right. Peace.
See ya.